All right, following Friday's special counsel indictment of 13 Russians, the liberal mainstream Destroy Trump media went out of their way to attack the president, as they usually do, and cast an ominous shadow over the future of the Trump administration. Doom, gloom, hysteria daily, and they've been wrong the whole time.
It's now obvious that the Russians were trying to interfere in our election.
Well, it appears the stress might be getting to him.
This is getting closer and closer and closer to the Trump inner circle. Are the White House staff getting more and more worried about that, or is this just Donald Trump freaking out about it alone?
It may just be Donald Trump freaking out about it alone, but his staff has to be freaking out about his freak out, right?
The big stuff is probably yet to come, and indeed it does seem as though Mueller is just beginning to lay the groundwork, but stay tuned for more.
What concerns me is that Donald Trump seems to be more upset about the Mueller investigation and what came out from that this Saturday morning than these kids who were shot.
I think Trump's got some problems. I don't think Mueller would have taken the case if he didn't see a serious problem here.
Some of the dumbest people work in this profession. Joining us now, Michelle Malkin Investigates, CRTV. Michelle Malkin. Okay. Hillary Rodham Clinton paid for Russian and Russian government lies to lie to the American people in the lead up to the election. Then it wasn't verified. It was used to get a FISA warrant because they never told the judge the truth. And we have Hillary Clinton and Eric Holder, Barack Obama administration. We have Putin operatives involved in money laundering, extortion, kickbacks, and bribery. And they got 20% of America's uranium. Nobody in the media is telling their viewers about these important things. Why?
Because it doesn't fit their narratives, and they are going to go kicking and screaming like toddlers in a tantrum as long as they can to deny the truths that you are reporting nightly, Sean. And the reaction and the responses that you showed in the wake of this underwhelming indictment on Friday show that so much of the opposition media is part of their own 4-H club. You mentioned hysteria. Well, it's also hyperbole, hyperventilation, and also hypocrisy. Because when there are plain and obvious neon flashing signs and evidence of foreign meddling and corruption, not just the Uranian One deal, but so many others over the stretch of both Republican and Democrat administrations, this 4-H club of the opposition media has been nowhere to be found. And you have to have a little bit of historical perspective here, too, Sean. I mean, these are the same people that looked the other way at Walter Duranty and the clear and convincing and overwhelming infiltration of communist agents during the Roosevelt administration. These are people who have looked the other way at Saudi and Chinese and Mexican meddling in our elections. So the idea that they care now and are touting this indictment as somehow on the order of 9/11 or Pearl Harbor, as some of these more hysterical journalists have done, please. Their hypocrisy is showing, and it's the true colors of this media. They don't care about foreign meddling in this election. They care about bringing down President Trump.
You know, I'll give you, it's always been about that. You know what I've never understood about Mueller? One guy in the world, Julian Assange, he knows where he got his information from, doesn't he? In terms of the DNC. Now, if they wanted to find out the leak and where that, they would ask him. At least ask. At least try to talk to the guy. That's never happened. So what I see about Mueller is here you have all of this other evidence. Mueller was the FBI director when we had an informant inside of the actual operation of Vladimir Putin in this country. And the fact that the media is acting all surprised and feigning such moral outrage, it is just one huge, massive lie. It's not true, Michelle, because he got 20% of our uranium. How stupid are we that he got 20% of our uranium? We handed it to him, and we knew these crimes were committed on our soil, and they did nothing.
Yes, that's right. You know, in 2009, I came out with a book called Culture of Corruption, and I pointed to all of the ways in which Chicago and the Potomac and the Obama administration were endangering our national security, our public safety, every last pillar of civil order in our country. And I feel somewhat vindicated, but I'm not going to cheer about it. The deep state has posed the greatest amount of threat to the fabric of our nation, and we certainly didn't need 13 Russian trolls to sow that division and chaos, because so much of it, of course, has been advanced not just by the Obama operatives that remain in the deep state. For goodness sake, there are Clinton and Carter era barnacles still in that deep state and in Foggy Bottom and embedded in all of our intelligence and law enforcement agencies. But of course, the biggest sowers of division within American soil are those operatives in the so-called mainstream media.
So corrupt, and it's all boomeranging back. I said 2018 will be the year of the boomerang as it relates to these issues. Michelle, as always, thank you. When we come